Audio's on. Good evening, everyone. I'll call the meeting to order at 5:32 p.m. Updated public comment procedures announcement. The Board of Education has recently updated its procedures regarding public comment. Requests to address the board for public comments related to closed and open session agenda items or topics under the board's subject matter jurisdiction must be made by submitting a public comment card provided by the district. These cards will be available 30 minutes before the scheduled start of the meeting at the entrance table of the board meeting venue. The district's public comment card must be submitted to the secretary by the time the board begins public comments related to closed session. Late public comment cards will not be accepted pursuant to board bylaws. Members of the public must identify themselves on the public comment card in such manner as to allow the board to recognize them for public comments. Since each board meeting agenda is different, the actual point in time in which the board will begin public comments is subject to change. Members of the public are encouraged to arrive on time. This announcement will be shared at the beginning of each board meeting for the remainder of this current school year to ensure the community is aware of the recent updates. If you would like to address the board at this meeting, please complete a public comment card and submit it to staff in a timely manner. Thank you. May we please have a roll call?
Yes. Board member Aaron Simonson.
Present.
Board member Patrice Stanzioni.
Present.
Board member Norman Gonzalez. Present. Board member Dolores Rivera. Board member Dina Flores. Present. Superintendent Dr. Alejandro Alvarez.
Here.
Dr. Julie Harrison.
Here.
Maricela Barba.
Here.
Tomiko Lee Nolasco. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We have the quorum. Approval of the agenda of the regular board meeting of June 10th, 2025. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved. Push Janelle.
I'll go get it.
Sorry. So I said you make a second. I'm sorry.
No,
I was gonna
open the.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I motioned. I said motion.
Oh, you
Oh.
motioned. I'm sorry. I was confused there. Is there a second?
Multi-talented.
Yeah.
Sure.
A motion to approve the agenda by Ms. Flores and seconded by Ms. Stanzioni. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Aye. Aye. Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Pledge of Allegiance. At this time, I'll lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And let the record reflect that our colleague, Ms. Rivera, has joined us at 5:35 p.m.
And 3 seconds.
Right, we'll move on to open session item number 2, staff presentations, and recognitions. Item number 1 is the local control accountability plan, LCAP presentation. Dr. Alvarez.
As board president, members of the board, as we do every year, required by law, team here, Dr. Urson will be presenting on the local control accountability plan, the changes we've made and the updates. We just completed year 1 of a 3-year plan. So I'd like to turn it over to Dr. Harrison.
Thank you, Dr. Alvarez. Board President Cimentel, Board of Education, Dr. Alvarez, Cabinet, and guests. I want to thank you for the opportunity to bring to you our draft LCAP for 25-26, moving into next school year with some important information and updates from our partners along with the process. So. All right, so an overview of our presentation tonight. We'll go into a quick purpose of the LCAP. It's always nice to have just a quick refresher. The partner engagement that took place, our goals 1 through 3 overview, partner feedback, and some of the updates that you will see in our draft for 25-26. Then we'll have an opportunity for questions or comments from the board based on our plan. So moving into the next slide. Understand the LCAP. So like Dr. Alvarez said, this is a 3-year plan and we're we finished up year one and we're going into year two. So our LCAP plan just basically outlines the goals and actions that we as a district have committed to support our student outcomes. It does give us an accountability piece. So this is where we have to engage our partners, our parents, our students, our teachers, staff, and SELPA in order to gain all of their feedback to see how we're doing, making progress on our goals, and what other things we might be missing that we need to include as we move forward, improving our goals and actions. Our key goals here in Bassett Unified, this LCAP is incredibly well written. I was very excited to come to a district that had one that was so Loctite because they can be monstrous. So I was very thankful to be able to inherit a very well thought out, well planned LCAP. So we have three main goals: high achievement, safe environments, and that college and career centered culture. Those remain the same over the 3-year cycle. So as you can see, the plan development, it starts over cyclical year after year. We start really in kind of October, November, gathering all of the information that's been released that's no longer embargoed. So this is the data that is our final data. So like right now we have some data rolling in, but the actual year-end data when we get to our CalPERS reporting comes in October, November. So we start to pull our data together there because it's more solid. And then through December and March, that's when we take that data and we start engaging with our partners to look at how we're doing, not just on state data, but on our local indicators. We want to be able to see what, like, school culture is a local indicator. So I'll talk about local indicators at our next meeting. But we have some state indicators that are like the more concrete data, CAS scores. They are our expulsion rates and things of that nature. So during December and March, that's when we're taking that data. We're taking it to our DLAC group. We're taking it to our parent groups that we pull together. We talk about it at coffee with the principal. We talk about it at the parent academies when we're with people, our teachers and staff. So we're kind of getting the data out there and we're engaging with our partners to get feedback from them. From January to June is really when the writing kind of takes place and you get back into the system and do the updates, look at the budget. We look at our actuals for this year, what are expected actuals, and then we start budgeting for next year based on those goals and actions. And then finally, hopefully with approval at our next meeting, we'll have the LCAP, and July 1 is when we kick off just implementing that whole plan for 25-26. So that's our timeline. Partner engagement has been really wonderful this year. The parent engagement in this district is more than I've ever seen, and the districts I've been in. Just the ability, the people that will show up to coffee with principals, the feedback we get on our surveys, the parents that come out to our parent academies, and their willingness to just sit down and chat with you about what's going on. So the parent engagement has been wonderful this year, and staff, of course, same thing. We meet with our associations, our teachers association, the classified union. We meet with the SELPA for a consultation on our special education programs. So that's all taken place and everyone's been giving feedback. We had teacher surveys, staff surveys, parent surveys that went out at various times in the year. And then we get to our students, who are really the people that we're trying to serve. So I was able to meet with student groups from all of our secondaries on different dates. And then they also did the Healthy Kids Survey is used as part of LCAP to inform our actions and services. So partner engagement has been really the highlight of the plan for me as a professional. So I'm really thankful for that. So embodied in this three quick little paragraphs is an overview highlight of our three goals and what they aim to accomplish. So when we're looking at goal 1, let me flip my page because my eyes don't work anymore. Okay, looking at goal, we kind of use the term, if you hear me say goal 1 or goal A, we kind of use them interchangeably. In Bassett Unified, goal 1 is actually called goal A. So if I tend to use those interchangeably, it's just because I have old memories in my mind. So goal 1 is our achievement goals. So anything that has to do with in the classroom achievement, academic supports, EL progress, things we need for learning, software, information technology, field trips, extended learning after school, library and media help. All of the academics are sort of housed, umbrellaed underneath that goal 1 that apply to our students. Then looking at goal 2 is when we get into that student-centered learning environments, health and well-being, health and safety. This one is increasing our counseling services. This is where we have our community liaisons. You will see them. They exist in goal 2 to serve our students. We see student engagement, attendance and safety are in there. And the overall belonging at school is paramount in goal 2. And then goal 3, to put it kind of succinctly, is looking at our college and career readiness. So this one is looking at our CTE pathways, No Excuses University, A through G coursework, our dual enrollment, college field trips, things to kind of support the launch that we need for all of our kids once they leave us in 12th grade. So these 3 goals, thankfully, the way that they are written and the way that they're laid out in our plan, they really can encompass anything that we want to achieve and need to achieve because of the way that they're set up and structured. So kudos for that being the case here at Bassett Unified. This is my favorite slide because it talks about our partner feedback summary. So I was able to compile the big pieces that had like a line through from group to group. So you can kind of see who was saying what and what they were hoping to see or what they would like us to continue to focus on. And then what I did was I added in a little piece there about where that type of an action would be housed or what goal and action you would find it in as we move to make these things happen. So for example, student support, and you can see in parentheses, students, parents, and staff all very much support the idea of mental health services, continuing those services, implementing like a restorative practices type of multi-tiered system of support, especially at the high school level. They want kids to be kind of pulled back into the fold, especially those that may have done something that is outside of what we can accept at a school system. So having some of those things in place and looking at strategic programs is important. Academic growth, again, this is across the board. Everybody wants to see more hands-on learning. We have a robust testing schedule here. We have a lot of, I think the feeling that maybe we have many benchmarks and like are looking at how much we're doing that. The kids definitely were like, can we reduce some of that testing? They want to see us grow our CTE and STEM and enrichment programs. And doing those things can happen. Goal C Action 2 is like set up just to do those kinds of things. Extracurriculars, they're housed in Goal A, Action 4, and Goal B, Action 4. So increasing sports after school, looking at flexible electives, and boosting our clubs and programs that we have on campus. School culture, a lot of promoting inclusivity, cultural celebrations. You will actually notice that a lot of these do align actually with our DLAC group and the recommendations they made at the last board meeting. You'll see alignment of things that are most important to them. So that's a good thing when you see that. So this includes school culture, which would be, this is housed in Goal B, Actions 1 and 2. So you can see that kind of written. This is where we would nestle those as we allocate dollars to make those things happen. Parent engagement, just continuing to incentivize family involvement. Our families did say they're impressed with the programs we have, but we still have that struggle of them not knowing all the programs that we have. So when we have parents at a meeting, like Chelsea, who was our valedictorian, when she spoke the other night, she was so funny with her speech, was so good. But her mom comes to almost every single event and said, my daughter did all of the AP classes. She was able to grade improve. She's done college courses while she's here. And she rattled off all these things that her daughter's been doing with us at the school. And she's like, but I'm just wondering like how much everyone knows about that. So obviously that's something that as a site, as a district, we do want to improve that. So parents were saying, we got to make sure we get that message out. So working on that. And then supporting our families facing challenges, just continuing to do that because we have a lot of families that are up against a lot of different challenges and understanding those. And then finally, for safety, They talked about improve, this is funny, I didn't expect this, but improving door locks. Like they said, we want the doors to lock like a certain way or like working with the door locks. And we've been doing a lot of work with door locks actually. So it's nice to see that kind of rolling out. They understand that we have school monitors and monitoring, and there are people there. There's campus monitors, we have school site monitors, and we have security. But we realized in the process of building the LCAP, not everybody knows exactly who those people are because there's nothing that makes them like necessarily stand out. They kind of blend in with the crowd. And so just making them more visible, not necessarily adding more, but just the visibility piece. And I thought that was really interesting and also something that we can easily adjust. So that's really helpful. And then finally, the staff, they want to continue to have our training. They want support for restorative practices, and maintaining our online curriculum options that we have is important to them. So keeping programs going. And this was our partner feedback. And what I tried to do on this slide is kind of show you where that would be nestled into the plan so we can make a greater focus on it. Because we all know in education, whatever we focus on gets better. So those are kind of some of the areas that they would like to see. And then finally, this last piece is just some goal and action updates. The goals and actions are built so that we can nestle those things that we need to get done inside of them. So there's not always a whole lot of changes that happen with your actions because they're written very well here. So for that purpose, they nestle nicely. However, every year with a local control accountability plan, the county, the state, sometimes different things will say, okay, well, now we want you to add this into the plan, or have you thought about adding this? Or we recognize, okay, we need to actually add something new or adjust some of our actions and services. So that's what this slide represents. So for differentiated assistance for our long-term English learners, the LTELs. So this last 2024 school year was the first year ever that the state asked us to pull out the LTELs, their results and their achievements separately, and look at it and made it a dashboard indicator. So this year when they did that, many of the local districts around us, actually I think almost all of them, found when they pulled those out and put them on the dashboard that they're eligible for differentiated assistance. So that means we partner with the county to look at their achievement and really develop together some ways to strengthen their achievement. So for our LTELs, the things that we'll be focusing on and that are now included, you can see them in the actions of our LCAP. You will see that the goal will call out for chronic absenteeism. For example, the goal will call out that we're focusing on LTELs for that and what their chronic absenteeism rate is and what we are trying to get it to. So we strategically set that goal of, we know that before we knew they were encompassed in our ELs, but now we're saying, no, we got to pull them out separately and set goals for them. So we did set goals for our LTELs for chronic absenteeism, college career indicators, ELA and math scores, and then language acquisition progress. We want to make sure on the LPAC that they're making progress every year, getting closer to that 4, or if they're at the 4 and they can't redesignate, they're maintaining the 4 until they can redesignate. So that's one of the big different, that was a big action update, and many of the school districts around us are adding that as well. The second piece is looking at in Goal C Action 1, working in a conscious effort to create that socio-emotional well-being at our school sites with initiatives that have a commitment to equity, accountability, and student well-being. And that really goes into the restorative practices. So it's like when they have behavioral challenges, we have punitive actions, but also looking at ways to reduce that repeat offenders and improve school climate overall. So that came up in the process of the feedback from partners and across the board, looking at ways to do more restorative practices and multi-tiered systems of support. And then finally, college and career access for students with disabilities is a big thing, a big push that we want to make sure we're doing with our students. Our students with disabilities should be graduating A through G ready and be able to go on to a 4-year college. This happens around us. Some of the best ways to make that happen are the least restrictive environment. The least restrictive environment is paramount, meaning that if a student needs help with just English language arts and reading, then that should be the only place where they're receiving extra support in a special ed setting. The rest of the 80% of their day, they should be in general ed classes. That would be the least restrictive environment. And even more least restrictive would be if we took that one where they need the support and it was in a co-teach class. So now they're in gen ed all day long, but there's an extra support in there with co-teach. So just looking at ways to be able to increase our co-teach to make sure our students with disabilities are accessing general education settings as much as possible is something that we've now worked into Goal C Action 1. Because a lot of, we found also, and are not unique to us, but something that's important is that we do have a lot of students with disabilities that are also English learners. So then it's the dual identity there, that you're an EL learner, but you are also a student with disability. So in order to serve those EL students and students with disabilities, you really need them in more of a general ed setting as much as possible. So that works into our Goal C Action 1. So these are some of the big takeaways from this year and just working with partners and trying to shore up our LCAP and make sure we tighten up any spots and add in the extra that we need. And so that's where we're at with our LCAP draft that's attached to the meeting tonight, where you can look at some of those pieces. And if you have questions or feedback for me, and I'm here to answer any questions.
Thank you very much. For myself, I just want to quickly say, no questions on me. I just want to commend you. I think this was the most succinct and digestible presentation on the LCAP I've seen so far as not only a board member, but just a member of the community. So truly thank you for everything you did to prepare it. You and your staff, I'm sure,
No,
for labor
yep.
love, but it definitely showed tonight. Questions, comments? Ms. Flores?
No, but I echo our president's comments. This is great. This is.
Thank
So
you.
this is really good. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Ms. Gonzalez?
Also no questions, just thank you for this, very thorough. I will be asking, not sure you or Dr. Alvarez, just a little more info on the No Excuses University, because I
Okay.
do see it everywhere, but I'm not familiar with exactly what the program is or how it's run or what it entails. So at some point, I'll just reach out to get a little more detail on that. Thank you.
And I too want to thank you for all the work you've done, and any questions I'll ask you aside from this meeting.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you
Good
very much.
report.
Move on to item number 2, 2025-2026 Bassett Unified School District proposed budget. Dr. Alvarez?
Thank you, Board President, members of the board. Just like the LCAP proposal for the upcoming school year, we also have the 2025-26 proposed budget report. This comes once again every year, and just as a reminder to the board and anyone listening, the way the law specifies is a presentation has to occur for the LCAP for the budget, a public hearing, which we have after these presentations are completed. And then at a subsequent board meeting is where the board can actually take action to approve the LCAP and budget. This provides the opportunity for people to give feedback during the public hearing, they provide their opinions. And if the board wants any adjustments made, obviously this would give the district some time to make those adjustments. So with that, I'd like to, or my name is Barbara here, and she'll be presenting the 2025-2026 proposed budget.
Good evening, Board President, Board members, Superintendent, and community in general. And I'm happy to present the proposed budget report for fiscal year 2025-26. The agenda will include the budget cycle as usual. And it will also include the 2025-26 budget proposal. So it's what happened, what changes happened between the January budget proposal and the May revision. You're going to see there's not much that changed, but nevertheless, we like to give you those highlights. We're going to present the multi-year budget assumptions, mature projections for the general fund, both unrestricted and restricted, and finally, an overview of the general fund balance. So as usual, the budget cycle starts with the adopted budget, and this year it's going to be the 25-26 that it takes effect on July 1st. And then and that's where we are, we're here. Then from there, it's gonna be the revised adopted budget. Once we hear from the state, the enacted budget, then if it's material, the changes that impacting financially to the district, then we would make some budget adjustments and do a revision. But if it's not material, then the district just go on with the routine budgeted revisions and then wait until the preparation of the first interim report. The first interim is a report where many adjustments are done based on foreign enrollment, the difference between the projected enrollment, the actual enrollment, staffing changes, and all these things that happen from the adopted budget to the first interim. Then we go in January, we have the governor's budget proposal again, and then we have any changes, any budget situations that may affect the district, and they can be included in the first interim report, which is has a deadline of March 15 to be submitted to CDE. From the second interim, then we go to the preliminary report, April, which is the continuation of the beginning of the start of next fiscal year. And then, of course, the major revision comes again, just like we just did. And any changes, then the budget gets adjusted, and they finalize the adopted budget of next fiscal year. So that's the budget cycle. So we have the changes that happen between the January budget proposed versus the May revision. And as you see, very small, I would say, non-material financial impact to the district. The COLA went down from 2.43% down to 2.3%, I'm sorry, having a reduction of $17 per local control funding formula average ADA. What's the impact on the base adjusted grant is $39,591. And then for the supplemental concentration, it's only $16,540 less that the district will receive based on the COLA reduction. We have another change that happened. The workers' compensation unfortunately went up a little bit from 2.04 to 2.4%. It's an increase of 0.36%. The budget has been adjusted for this workers' compensation rate increase. Also, we have a good news. One good news, the CalPERS employer rate went down from 27.40 to 26.81. And even though it says negative, but it's a good negative, meaning it's going to cost less to the district. The sources of all this information is gathered from different sources, including district enrollment and attendance projections, local control funding formula, the district, of course, all the Alley counties using the FICMAT local control funding formula tool. We have information from LACO and also very important from School Service California. So this slide shows you multi-year budget assumptions. These are the budget some of the main budget assumptions that are used to build the district's budget. And you can see the COLA for 25-26 is 2.3. It also went down in the district's proposal, in the governor's proposal. It went down also for the 12 years, 3.02 and 3.42. And then the enrollment stays consistent. The enrollment stays the same. It's about 2.5%. decrease in enrollment year after year. And the district has been pretty accurate in the enrollment projections. So we hope that not even stay consistent, but that improves the enrollment. So the funded ADA, this is something that you want to see. If you recall, the governor implemented because of the COVID and the low attendance and low enrollment, and so the funding, how he wanted to fund the districts fairly. So he implemented a 3 prior year ADA average. So that's how the district was getting funded for the past, I think started at 21, 22, 22, 23, 23, 24. So 3 years. This year, for next year, actually, the funded ADA will not be based on 3 prior year average, but it's going to be based on prior year. So the prior year attendance ADA happened to be greater than the prior 3 years together. And why is that? Is because the attendance went up from 92.6 to 94.6. So the attendance this year went up a lot. In addition to that, in the COVID years, the attendance was lower. And so in those years, if you see like 21, 22, 22, 23, 23, 24, that's where the lowest attendance. So to get there happened to be less than current year's attendance, which is 2651, and that's why this year is like that. So for the out years, 26, 27, 27, 28, it looks like it's gonna be funded based on 3 prior year average. And this information is gathered based on the FICMAT local control funding formula tool that computes all this based on the data that we enter. So again, the ADA you can see for current year is 2592, which will be used for next year's LCFF revenue calculation. And then the projection for the 2 out years is 2531.32 and 2473.49. The unduplicated pupil stays kind of consistent. It's also based on a multi-year, a 3-year average. So we have for next year will be 91.22, a total of 2,485 ADA. And you see the other years is also 9102, 90.86. It decreased a little bit, but it all depends on how the applications get gathered and all the information gets gathered every year so that it can be updated. The total funding per ADA is the average per ADA. Next year will be 16,460, and the 26, 27, 16,938, and it goes increasing 17,504, even though the district is estimating the less enrollment, but it's because of the COLA. And some good news about being consistent is the STIRS retirement rate, which has been consistent for many years to 19.10. They are not indicating any increases, not now, not in the future. Good thing for the PERS retirement rate, which went down, even though it's showing that it's going up, but based on prior projections, those are 3 better rates. And finally, the local control funding formula amount that is being projected for budget year, 43,645,507, and so on, the 44 and 45. So it goes up, and again, based on the COLA adjustment. And this slide, as always, you always see it, and I think it's really important to remind ourselves every time, what the challenges that the district and it's facing and encountering every year. every fiscal year. Decreases in statutory COLA, decrease in student enrollment, student attendance, even though, as I mentioned earlier, student attendance has been much better, and hopefully that this upcoming year gets even better. The unduplicated pupil percentage, that one is staying kind of consistent, but of course, if the enrollment goes down, then the unduplicated also goes down. And that's what it's included here. So on the other hand, the increases are in employee salary and fringe benefits costs, special education services, and the general fund contribution that needs to be given to this program. Retirement rates. As we know that, STRS again has been pretty consistent, but PERS, sometimes it goes down, sometimes it goes up. So, they change it every a few times. So also the health and welfare benefits cap has been increased based on negotiations. So that's another increase in cost. And of course, the purchasing power, again, the supplies and services cost that is just going up consistently, making the district's dollars smaller and smaller. So this slide shows you the different data for enrollment, ADA and funded ADA, but also it shows you, the numbers in parentheses. It shows you the lost in enrollment in ADA, as you can see in 1920 and 2021, where it was the beginning of COVID. The district was losing large numbers of students, 162, and of course ADA 149, and the funded ADA 134, and then the next year in 21, 22. So that this is the difference between 2 years, and you can see in the next year it was 180, 355, 88. So that was really extreme. And then in 88, that's when the governor implemented a 3-year average. That's why the funded ADA was only 2. And as the years progressed, you can see that the number of the enrollment count and the ADA count is being less and less. So I think this graph is really important to see the trend of how the enrollment and the ADA of the district goes to. So again, hopefully the fiscal year 25-26, we projected that the district's gonna lose 71 students, so hopefully that is a lot less. This is a breakdown of the local control funding formula. It shows you, of course, the COLA to 3.02 and 3.42. It shows you the base adjusted grant, how much is being awarded, 30.26 million, supplement concentration, 12.64 million, and of course, the add-on, which includes home to school transportation, the TIIBG grant, and the transitional kindergarten funding. But just wanted to point that out of these 43.64, 12.64 is supplement concentration, which becomes kind of restricted as long as the add-on, and the supplemental concentration is about 40% of the total local control funding formula. So it only leaves you like 35% because you take the add-on also out. It only leaves you about 55% of the total funding for unrestricted services. These are expenditure assumptions that we use every year that the district includes 1.4% for certificated step and column, 1.1 for classified step and column, stairs, scored 19.1, PERS 26.81, and whatever they have, those are the rates that we use. The workers' compensation, so it went up, it's 2.4. The cap formula is based on negotiated. The special education and transportation as needed, but every year is different depending on the services that need to be provided to our students. And of course, the routine restricted maintenance account is at 3% required by law. This is a multi-year projections for the unrestricted budget. As you can see, the district, when in section C, the district continues experiencing a deficit, a structural deficit spending, which the district is working on making adjustments in every area possible, including staffing, supply services. The goal is to eliminate this structural deficit spending. So the district, it's continue having a positive fund balance every year. Starting with next year's will be 17.5 million. The 2 years is 15.8 and 14.6 million. So with this, it shows you that the district is presenting a fiscal, it's a solvent fiscal budget report. So which means that the district will present a positive budget certification, and the state will approve the district's budget. This is a graph that shows you the projected general fund restricted revenues for 25-26. As you can see, it's 43 million for the LCFF. It's 501, it says for the state, and I'm going to show you the percentages, and 266 for local. And the good thing currently is that the district is receiving a good amount of interest, and that's most of that amount, 266,000 is interest earned. And of course, the negative is the general fund contribution, 7.7 million. This one is the same data, but in percentage. So you see that 15% of the total unrestricted revenue goes to the general fund contributions. And 84% is the local control funding formula. The state revenue is 1% and local revenue is less than 1% of the total. This is just a restricted general fund. Multi-year projections. This one is for your information, and this one includes programs like Title I, is special education, after-school program, Title II, Title III. And last, this is the multi-year projections restricted and unrestricted altogether in millions. So you can see the total revenues projected for the budget year is 54.5 million. The expenditures is 57.0, so which gives us an overspending of 2.5 million. And then you see that the beginning fund balance of all together is 36.2. Then the decrease is 2.5 million. So it's ending balance of 33.7. So this shows like it's a big fund balance, but it's because of the ELOP funds that are sitting there. That's what makes it impactful. So same thing for 26, 27, 27, 28. So approximately it's pretty consistent, as you can see, 55.2. And then expenditures 57.2. Number spending of 2 million, so it gives you a 31.7 fund balance. And the 27, 28 is 56 million. For revenues, expenditures 57.7. The decrease in fund balance is 1.7 million, and giving you an ending fund balance of 30 for all. This graph will show you the percentages for each of the categories, starting with certificated salaries is 35%, classified salaries is 20% out of the total expenditures. We have supplies, 5%. You see how the employee benefits is 22%. So when you add those three, 35, 57, 77, so it's the mirror of expenditures is allocated to salaries and fringe benefits. The rest is small for books and supplies, 5%. Services and other expenditures is 15%. And then other outgo is 3%. Other outgo includes tuition, student tuition. And then this is the unrestricted general fund ending fund balance. So this is for all 3 years as well. Beginning balance is almost 20 million, and then the spending of 2,453,000. It gives you the ending fund balance, and then the ending fund balance, the ending fund balance is distributed. The district always, of course, allocated 3% for economic uncertainties as required by law, and the 7% that was approved by the board. And the rest, the 25,000, I'm sorry, is for the non-spendable. That's the revolving fund. And the rest is for out years mitigation. So as you see, there's no unassigned, unavailable balance. And so for the 26, 27, there's also, as mentioned before, there's a projected overspending of 1.7 million. And for 27, 20 is almost 1.2 million of overspending, decreasing the fund balance to end the third year with 14.6 million, which is still decent. It's about 30%. And same pattern. Unrestricted general fund ending fund balance. So this is just a graph to show you the different assignation of the ending fund balance percentages. And last, what the next steps for the district, of course, okay, today, as Dr. Alvarez mentioned, is a public hearing. And then any changes will be done. Any changes needed will be done. And then, so for the board to approve it on the board meeting on June 24th for both the LCAP and the budget. The next step will be the report submission to LACO and CDE on July 1st. And then there's the implementation of the budget as well as the fiscal year. And what can happen, the state budget enactment that can impact the district's revenue projections. So that's in a few days to see that. And it's not expected to have major financial impact. The governor's cash deferral. So the governor made a cash deferral from June 2026 to July 2026. It's just 1 month, and it's for the state portion of the local control funding formula. However, I was reading this morning and there was a change in that deferral based on the state budget committee. So they are making changes, reducing the deferral or extending it, but for a longer period of time, distributing this deferral. So it's bring a better picture for the district. The good thing is that the district enjoys a very healthy cash flow. So even if that happens, it's not impacting the district. So they also monitor, of course, monitor the student enrollment and attendance. And this upcoming school year, hopefully that it has a better outcome than the projections the district has done. And that concludes the presentation. Any questions?
Questions from the board? Ms. Rivera?
Yes, I have a question. And actually, I should have done it also to Dr. Harrison. I noticed on everything that you have for special ed funding and you have funding for ELDs. What about the gifted children? Do we have any funding for them or programs that we're offering them extra?
For the gifted children,
That would be for Dr. Harrison.
Dr. Harrison's
Yeah.
question.
So the state doesn't give us specific money for gate anymore. Like, however, we have that built into our local control accountability plan and our actions. And we also have resources in ELOP that we can use for our gifted. But they don't necessarily have something allocated specifically for them that I'm aware
Yeah, because I noticed on the budget, I noticed
of.
notice it on the
Yeah.
LCAP. So I was wondering if we're doing anything, 'cause before we used to have the funding and they would have extra programs or trips to museums or something for them. And now we don't.
They got any?
Yeah, we do have we do have ELOP funding for anything that takes place after school. That can be used in that fashion, but we do have, and an LCAP, I think it's goal A, action 5, is where our field trips are, action 3, where our field trips are nestled. And that could be gate associated. We still do gate testing, have students in gate program. We have after-school gate programs at each of our sites. They all do something a little different, so that's something that we probably need to pull together.
It's not like pull out like with special ed or incorporated into the classroom or anything anymore.
We don't have it happening during the school day in that fashion, and I have to look into it a little bit more. I had someone bring it up to me recently about, they thought that maybe we couldn't, but I don't think we have any restrictions on that. So that's something that I need to follow up with.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you. I think it's good.
Ms. Manzioni?
If I may address that.
Yes.
All the studies and training currently say that best practices say that a child is gate all day, not for the
Yeah.
pull out. And that differentiated instruction, just as it is for our special ed population within a general ed situation, is done. We differentiate for that child with a deeper and a deeper dive, so to speak, within the general ed population. USC trained for it
Yeah.
yearly, and I think Sandra Kaplan is the one that is the authority, the current authority on it. And so pullout is not the optimum. In fact, all of our children benefit from all field trips, so I
yeah.
just separate children.
We definitely send them all.
Any further questions?
Oh, thank you so much.
Ms. Gonzalez, have it?
Yes.
Ms. Gonzalez?
How long do we have ELOP funds for? Or is this something that's gonna show up every year?
So,
So far, it's been every
yeah,
year.
every year, it's an ongoing funding, so it's not like what we call one time or you got a couple of years. We get it every year. We have been building up a dollar. So what happened when the money came from during COVID, no one could do anything. So the kind of money sat there. And so we've been talking about a plan on how to spend some of those funds before the state says we're gonna take all of it back. And so that's a plan we've been working on that I'd like to present to the board in the near future.
Thank you.
Learning through the major vision and the budget proposal, it doesn't say that it's gonna end. It seems like it's gonna keep going. Yeah, it didn't say any.
I would like to point one thing out to the board, and because this is a conversation we've had multiple times. And obviously, as Ms. Barba is presenting the last several years, is our deficit spending. So if you go to page or slide 14, I think it is, page 7 on the handout. You'll see highlighted in yellow, net increase for the 25-26 on the unrestricted budget. We're projected to deficit 2.45. I do want to point out that when the board approved the second interim, that the 2025-20 school year was expected to be at 4.1. And then when you look at the slide again for 26-27, it's 1.7 projected deficit spend in this budget. And the second interim, it was at 2.9. So I do want to make sure the board kind of point out that we are making progress on eliminating our deficit spending. And we've had conversations about how to do that strategically. And so I just wanted to make sure I point that out to all of you.
Any further questions? Thank you very much. So we'll move on to item number 3, public hearing for the 2025-2026 local control accountability plan. As required by law, the Board of Education will hold a public hearing to receive comments from the public for the local control and accountability plan. I ask for unanimous consent that we open the public hearing at 6:28 p.m. Is there any objection? Hearing none, the hearing will be open at 6:28. Are there any persons speaking for the public hearing? I'm making direct eye contact with every soul in this room. Hearing none, I would like to ask for unanimous consent that we adjourn the public hearing at 6:28 p.m. Without objection, we will close it. Now go on to public hearing for the 2025-2026 Bassett Unified School District proposed budget. As required by law, the Board of Education will hold a public hearing to receive comments from the public for the 2025-2026 proposed budget. I would ask for unanimous consent that we open the public hearing at 6:28 p.m. Without objection, it's open. Are there any persons wishing to speak for the public hearing? And eye contact with every single person here. Looks like not. All right, I will ask for unanimous consent that we adjourn the public hearing at 6:29 p.m. Hearing none, we will close at 6:29. All right, public comments related to closed session. Are there any comment cards, Dr. Alvarez? None for either.
For anything.
You have to read it in. All right, hearing that there is none, I now know how my predecessor feels. It's quite relating, actually. No public comments related to closed session or open session, so we will forego those. Superintendent comments, Dr. Alvarez.
Yeah, thank you, Board President, members of the board. Just a few comments. We know the school year ended Thursday last week with a nice bang. Last week was very busy for all our school sides, excuse me, our staff, school site, district office. For those of you that were able to make it, we had kindergarten promotions, 5th grade promotions, 8th grade promotions, high school graduations. And so I just wanted to thank everyone for the hard work putting it together. I think one of the common things I found, first, just within the 8th grade promotions, and hearing the different students speak was about second chances and new beginnings and allowing them to be successful. I think that was a common theme among a couple of the students that spoke, and I just, that goes a long way. I've always felt that sometimes a setting may not be the best for someone and you just change the setting and it makes a world of difference. They all talked about the connection that 1 or 2 staff members had made with them that made them feel valued and important, or want the build that confidence in them to be able to do well, to be able to succeed. And so I think that's just a message that resonated with me. Nueva Vista High School graduation, it's always a great event. I enjoy seeing the red flower celebration they do, honoring their families for the hard work that they did in supporting them in their venture. And then obviously at Bassett High School, great event, fireworks, banda. I heard I'm on TikTok or
Yes.
something dancing. But yes, that's what I do when I'm gone that week in September. Mexico. Just the other thing I want to highlight about the high school graduation, and if you didn't hear it, and I'm sure some like the board members may talk about it. We did have a 15-year-old valedictorian. Loved her speech. And so this is a student who's been here since kindergarten. Not someone that just came to us later in school. We work closely with the parents throughout her education here. I think its parent was very involved in the school district, at school sites and things. And so obviously at requests that came in, we worked with our teams to determine whether or not it would be appropriate to skip a grade level. And so whether or not the team made some decisions allowing the students to skip grade levels, which allowed her to graduate at 15 years old and be a valedictorian. But I think that just also that's a testament to our staff and our school district and what we have to offer all our students who come to the Bassett Unified School District. We just to let the board know, an email went out to welcome back breakfast. It's scheduled for August 18th from 8 to 9:30. I'm not rushing anyone back. Enjoy your summer, but I wanted to throw that out there. For those parents that are listening, we do have ELOP going on throughout the school sites through most of June and picking back up in July. Take advantage, enroll your children. That's kindergarten through 6th grade. And then I want to inform the board that this coming week on the weekly, I'll be sending out the scholarship fund donation form for all of you to fill out and complete so we can turn in and start that process. I know Ms. Zuniga sent out an email to all of you. We do have CSBA coming out December 3rd through the 5th. They've all been registered. Both Alexander and I were at 8 o'clock when we had to wait for an email to come in so we can click to register. And by 8:03, we were in the system and the 2 main hotels were booked. We couldn't even get a room, not even a waiting list. So I think there's some foul play there. I think the rooms got dished out before they even opened up. So we did our best. We'll continue to work. But if there's anything that you find that you'd like to attend that you haven't told Alexander about, we'll do our best to try to get you enrolled in any of these special workshops or anything like that. Just a reminder, next week, the district is closed on June 19th in honor of Juneteenth. For those of you who don't know why Juneteenth is celebrated, is the emancipation of enslaved people, and that finally got the word in Texas. It took a while to get out there. So that's kind of the commemoration for that. And then just finally, given the current climate there to our community, I want them to just reach out and let them know that we have a lot of resources for them on our website. You can go out to school sites. If no one's there, come to the district office. We're here to support you. It is unfortunate. A lot of our community is living in fear. And regardless, I think, of immigration status, we're hearing stories of just US citizens being questioned, detained, and not detained for 5 minutes, long periods of time, which for someone who is a veteran and, citizen, long time here, birth, it's unfortunate that they feel it's okay to do a lot of this. It's just unfortunate. And so I just want to reaffirm to the community and our staff, our commitment to all of them. And we do everything we can legally to protect our students and our community members. So with that, thank you very much and have a good night.
Thank you, Dr. Alvarez. We'll move on to board member comments. Board member Dina Flores.
It's really hard to follow this one because he says everything. We should have him go last. Okay, just kidding. So anyway, hello, everybody. Good evening. It was a fabulous week last week, and I thankfully got to attend all the promotions and the graduations. Looking forward to one more this Thursday. Congratulations to all our promoting classes from Torch Middle School, Edgewood, Don Julian, Sunkist, Van Wig. I do have to say Torch Middle School, that Willy Wonka song just gets me. It just really gets me. Congratulations to the Bassett High School graduating class of 2025 and the Nueva Vista graduates class of 2025. Very, very excited. One of the things, all our Nueva Vista graduates, correct me if I'm wrong, will get a full scholarship if they choose to enroll in the adult school. That is amazing. I must post that. So we got this, okay? Bassett is the best. Graduates, whether you're heading to college, diving into the trades, or exploring other paths, we're so proud of all that our graduates have accomplished. We're wishing each and all of them the best of luck as they embark in this new journey and chapter in their journey. Stay golden, class of 2025. And as it was said, remember to come back. Come back to give back. We want to hear and just give back to this fabulous community. I also want to do a heartfelt thank you to the incredible team at Bassett Unified School District, our certificated, our classified, our cabinet, basically everybody who really made last week happen. It's a part of it. It's a reflection of all that you do. I am so proud to be a board member here at Bassett Unified School District. A special shout out to our dedicated principals and assistant principals for their leadership and guidance and unwavering support. As Dr. Alvarez mentioned, many of our students have that someone that they connect to, that someone that made a difference for them, and it was so good to hear that. I did enjoy our valedictorian speech. She's just so, okay, whatever. But it was a nice speech. So anyway, dedication makes all the difference, and we're truly grateful for all you do. And also, as we say that, thank you to Dr. Alvarez for your continued vision, leadership, and continued commitment to our students and schools. Your guidance does help drive our district success forward. Thank you all for your tireless efforts and commitment to shaping bright futures. I am looking forward, as I mentioned, to the adult school graduation this Thursday, right? Thursday, 5 o'clock or 5:30. Okay, so Bassett Council held their Founders Day on May 28th. It was a great event. The event was held at Sunkist Elementary. I really want to give a big shout out to Ms. Esker for making that happen when our original place just kind of fell through. So, and a big thank you to Sunkist PTA because they like lickety split got all the decorations out there. It was really great. We have a special event next Monday, Dr. Alejandro Alvarez's birthday. Happy birthday. Should we sing it now? No, we'll sing holiday. It has been a fabulous, it's really great as we close this year, or we've closed the school year. Yes, I am looking forward to the beginning of the next school year, but it can come slowly. It's okay. I just have to catch up. I'm in audit at work right now. Everyone stay safe and enjoy your summer. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you very much. Board Member Gomez.
Good evening, Bassett. I want to congratulate all the students that got kindergarten, 5th, 8th, and the high school, Nueva Vista. They got promoted or graduated this year. You did an awesome job. You were great. You did it. You're going to the next level. So I wish you all very good luck on all of them, especially the students that are going either to Torch or continue on it in Don Julian or Edgewood in their 8th grade. And or the ones that are going, and the 8th graders that are going to Bassett, please take all the classes that you can. If you could do summer school, please do it. It will help you get advancement and get used to the high school. And that's a great time right now with no pressure and to get used to the high school and get used to going from class to class. That would be a great time. I also want to thank our whole school community, classified, certificated, management, assistant superintendents, because you all got your hands dirty. You all did the work all together. It wasn't like, no, I'm a superintendent, I don't do anything. Or no, I'm a management, you do it. No, everybody works hard here. And that is what the parents are seeing, that you're all together and you're all working for them. So that's why the parents are coming around more. That's why the parents are getting involved more, because they see the top getting involved and they want to be the same as them. So thank you also to the parents that get so involved. The valedictorian's parent is always at every meeting at school side, covered with the principal, the DLAC, the LCAP, but everything, she's always there. And that's an example of the kind of parents we need to help our students succeed. If you can't make every meeting, at least be in touch with the school and keep up looking after your kids, because there are valued possessions. Possessions, they're not our possessions, but they're rented to us. That's why it's called parent. The kids are rented to us. We gotta do good for them, make them the best they could be. And whatever they do, whatever work they do, just be the best that you could be. My dad always used to say, if you like the work you do, doesn't matter what you do. Just, if you like it, you never work a day in your life because you're always gonna be happy. You're not gonna feel like you're working, and just be the best that you can be in whatever you do. And that's what I leave Bassett with. Whatever you decide to do, be the best at it. You be the example for the others so that they could see how well you do your work and what a great leader you are, because that's how we built our leaders. And that's how you get followed, by seeing your work and seeing your value and seeing what you do. Not by standing up there and saying the credit, I did this or I did that, no, showing them. Showing the people and everyone how great you could work. So with that, I leave you, Bassett, and have a great summer. And there is a free lunch program at Bassett High School. And what else? What other schools?
Give me 1 second, I'll tell you right now. Don Julian.
Don Julian, Bassett High School. That's it? Those two?
No, actually, we have breakfast and lunch for Don Julian, Edgewood, Sunkist, Van Wegen, and Torch.
Okay, all the K-8 have a free lunch program. Please take your kids breakfast and lunch. Take at least take a walk out, and don't be afraid. The more we stay in and show them that we fear them or afraid, it's not gonna work. They've been there all day today at, they were at Francisquito and Sunset at the North Gate. I want to walk by them. You want to stop me? Stop me. I don't care. I went by. I had no ID either with me. And we can't be afraid. We got to stick together. We got to all work together. We all have to work together and protect each other. We're a small community and we could do it. The schools are here to help you. The church is there to help you. There's 3 churches around us that will certainly help you. St. Louis of France, there's a Methodist, and then there's the Lutheran on Willow, and Jehovah's Witness on Temple. So, and then across the street is the Chinese temple also. So use the resources and get yourself out there. Don't sign anything. Don't tell them anything, and just be safe. So good night, everyone.
Thank you very much for that. Board Clerk, Norma Gonzalez.
Good evening. I will start off with the graduation, both the Nueva Vista graduations and the Bassett High School graduation. The Nueva Vista one was my first official graduation to attend as a board member, so that was very exciting for me, and I'm glad that it was a little bit smaller, because I could, just kind of get my feet wet with the whole celebration. But it was amazing to see how hard those students work over at Nueva Vista and how hard the administrators work. And so, very proud of the work that is being done at Nueva Vista. And I hope that continues. The support, you can see that the support is amazing. As far as the high school graduation, it was a little bit surreal for me because as I was there, I was realizing that exactly 30 years ago, I was in the same spot graduating. And now I was sitting on the stage as a board member. So this goes out to all of the Bassett graduates, students. You never know. If you would have told me while I was there graduating that in 30 years I would be a board member, I would have not believed it. There's no way that was ever going to happen. But here I am. And so, just goes to the testament of this community and how well they lift you up and, how everyone has your back. And also just hearing the student speeches, it just proves to me over and over again how a simple connection with the student changes their life. If it wasn't for Miss Betty Wells, I would not be here. I know that for a fact. And I knew that, I had experienced that, but just listening to the student speeches from Nueva Vista, from the high school, and it's just so reaffirming and reassuring that, we have people in our district and in our community that are willing to lift up our students and willing to have their back and make sure that they're following a path that's going to lead them to something amazing. So thank you to all the staff for the hard work that you do in supporting the students. It's just amazing. For our valedictorian, yeah, I honestly had no clue that we had a valedictorian that young. I was shocked and pleased, but it just goes to show that her parents chose Bassett. And they made the most that they could out of it. And the student with, amazing accolades, is a product of Bassett. How amazing is that? And we see that year after year. Students that go into business, students that go to Ivy League schools, it's what experience you make of it. Whatever support the students get is what's going to lift them up. So always support the students. And that's why we're here, right? We're here for the students and making sure that their path is cleared of anything that will distract or destroy. So I'm just so grateful to be a part of Bassett Unified. Second, I was able to finish this weekend my master's in governance courses. I have officially finished. I am now well-rounded in governance. So Ms. Tanzioni was there with me too. So that was a really nice treat to have another board member there present when I was being given my pin of graduation. So thank you to, the school district for allowing me to attend those trainings. They were very much the way to go. Like, it's very important to make sure that you understand what you're doing and that you're not just going through the motions and nodding and saying yes and signing, because what we do here is very important, and our students' lives are, at risk with what we present to them here. So it's really important that we know what we're doing. Lastly, I just want to say, as for the current events, I am of the same mind as Dr. Alvarez and my fellow board member, that we do have to stick together, and that Bassett Unified is a community and we're here for you. And, the website has a lot of resources. When Dr. Alvarez sent out his message, I clicked through to the link and I was like, wow, this is amazing. So if you haven't yet, visit our website. The red cards are there, guidance is there, and like everyone has said, reach out to us personally, the office, the school sites. We are here for you, and we're here to make sure that things that shouldn't, think that everything is being handled legally, or illegally. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, so I just trying to keep it brief and not get too emotional about it, because it is a little bit daunting to see what's going on. But here in our little corner, we do need to protect each other, and we do need to make sure that we're letting our neighbors know that there are resources for them through the district, through whatever agencies they attend. So that's it for me. Thank you very much. Good evening.
Thank you very much.
Before my colleague Sanzoni speaks, could I just say the same thing in Spanish?
Oh, absolutely.
Because we're saying the same thing in English and they're Spanish speaking.
Absolutely. Ms. Rivera, please, if you would, it was still a pleasure, please.
Voy a decir lo que dije en inglés, a repetirlo, que por favor no tengan miedo de lo que está pasando ahorita. Somos una comunidad pequeña y nos podemos proteger unos a los otros, y hay que juntarnos y estar juntos, unidos. La fuerza, la unidad hace la fuerza, y así es como están en el centro los que están realmente protestando, no los que están haciendo las diabluras y todo lo que están haciendo. Pero aquí nosotros podemos estar juntos. La escuela, el distrito tiene muchos recursos en las, how do you say network? En el internet tienen todo lo que ustedes necesitan, los números que deben cargar. Por favor, agarren un número de Chirla para que si algo pasa, les llamen luego. Ellos tienen abogados para que los protejan y les ayuden. So, no tengan miedo. Hay que salir como siempre con los niños y todo. Nomás hay que estar alertas y alertos de qué es lo que está pasando. Y si andan por aquí, cercas, paseándose. Nunca han venido a Bassett o a La Puente y yo creo que tienen curiosidad de qué buena ciudad tenemos aquí en este lado del valle. Por eso andan por acá. Pero no les tengan miedo, nomás llévense sus números y no os firmen nada y no les digan nada. Y eso, buenas noches todos.
Thank you very much. Board Vice President, Ms. Tanzioni.
Thank you, Ms. Rivera. That was most appropriate and most necessary. Because I think it's all touched our hearts, what's been going on the news. And knowing that our children are living in fear that their parents may get taken at any moment is very real. But we do have resources here. We do have liaisons that were diligent in getting families out the red cards. And we do thank them for that early on. But if they still need help, they can still come in and get it by looking on our website. Again, there's so many other places they can go to get support. Again, don't open your door, don't sign anything. There's a whole list. It's pretty simple, but it will help set your mind a little bit at ease. Okay, that being said, I attended the graduation for Nueva Vista. And while the flower ceremony was incredibly touching because you see kids giving it to somebody and they just break down in tears because it's the first time they've been publicly recognized by a child. I saw lives there that I knew that were troubled early on. And because of people like Ms. Corral and Ms. Torres, their lives were changed. They graduated clean, they graduated better, they graduated with hopes and dreams now. And that was incredibly touching. And for that, I will be eternally grateful if they changed those lives in our neighborhood. At the high school, we had an amazing turnout, I'd say. Somebody said it looked like a smaller class. I think they just scooted the chairs together.
They were
Really squished down. But to listen to Chelsea's speech, it was quite brilliant if you listen. There's a story that we do have to get out. Not only did she stay, well, she chose here, but she chose to stay here when there were probably other options. There were probably other places calling to her. We do need to get that story out, and we'll be hopefully working on that in the very near future. Her words were entertaining. She was hilarious, but she was quite brilliant in all of it. And to the other speakers, they were so touching as well. I attended not only the Masters in Governance training this weekend, who said that we should listen, and how do we listen? And it had us role play, and I kind of threw my colleague here back a little bit while we were role playing. She didn't know that I really like drama. But it resonated with me when we were hearing the LCAP presentation. The partner feedback summary was the most powerful document, I think, in that. And along with the ELAC document that the parents presented at our last meeting, it showed that these parents have realistic and very focused concerns and suggestions, really viable suggestions that I think that we really need to listen to and follow. Because this, again, is our community. Now, I didn't graduate from Bassett High School. I went kindergarten through 8th grade at Bassett Unified School District, but I was offered to skip a grade or to go to Bishop Vermont. Now, Bishop Vermont had better scholarship opportunities. I went there. It was a good choice. Should I have skipped a grade? Well, maybe. You know, I would have been in the unknown. I wouldn't have been 11 when I graduated because I'm one of the old kids. But this district did offer that. They offered it per the need of the child. And I don't think people saw that. I don't think they didn't know about Ms. Chelsea. This amazing kid that we will see in the future. Her name will pop up somewhere in some revolutionary way. And we can say that she's ours. We need to get those stories out because Bassett is full of stories. The good, the bad, and the ugly. The wonderful. We are Bassett. You know, I've said this before, I've lived here ever since I was 6 months old. We have the original picture of the original house, and I almost saw in the paper and said, I wanted that house. And she got that house. The Tribune was around, but it wasn't that, it was the Herald Examiner, I believe, at the time. It goes way back. I've seen things come and go, but the one thing that stayed the same is every single child, when they graduate, when they cross that stage, their beaming smile of self-pride is like no other. And that's what we have to have from every single one of our children. And I commend everybody who helped the kids across that stage. We have to celebrate everybody. And on that note, I'll say Happy Pride Month, although we should be celebrating everybody every month. And I wish you guys a safe time until we see each other again in 2 weeks. And and we went to the Pride event over at the La Puente Park on Sunday, and it was wonderful, and there were great resources, and we collected all of them. So if anybody needs anything, we're more than welcome to share. We also saw one of the local talents who was hysterical as a comedian, not in the same category as Raja, but still, who is also a Bassett graduate. And if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. But it's a time to celebrate, it's a time to come together, and it's a time to protect each other. So good night, Bassett.
Thank you very much to my colleagues. Of course, congratulations to the class of 2025. It was a pleasure to attend. A few of the 8th grade promotions, actually really good speakers. Not to say that they're not, but this year you could tell there was a certain emotion to, I think, all of them, of just the accomplishment. It wasn't just like another ordinary like end of the year celebration, was another, student assembly. It definitely felt like they understood the magnitude of what they've accomplished, and that was really great to see. Of course, to the high schools, Nova Vista and Bass High School, it's always a pleasure to see the rose ceremony, as we've mentioned here. Like my colleague, to be on the same field that I walked as a student to become an alumni. And what an honor it was to be board president and alumni with our principal, who's also alumni, the first time in our district in high school's history for that combination to happen. So overall, just a really, really beautiful week. We still have the next 2 days for anyone who's going to make it to our adult school. And I do, like my colleague, want to commend the generosity of the adult school and extending their scholarship. I wasn't previously aware that they even had done it, to be quite honest. So to hear that they've gone from just a few scholarships to the entire class is amazing. So just thank you so much to the adult school team there for what they've done to our Explorer families. The valedictorian, that young is, it makes my head spin in such great ways, but it's great. And to our very much missed student colleagues, our ASB president and vice president, to both tie for salutatorian is such an amazing chance. But beautiful speeches, all of them. I'm really happy for all the amazing things that they will do. And the rest of our class of 2025. I didn't like at the 8th grade promotions here in class of 2029. That was very jarring. Yeah, last class of the 20s. But good for them. Good for them.
Oh my God.
I know, gross.
2030.
Gross. I think I saw a TikTok saying we're officially closer to 2050 than 2000. So sorry to ruin your evening there. But I also do want to commend actually Dr. Alvarez. I think even last meeting when you were speaking mostly to our young ladies who are in engineering, and it's not respectfully, quite often we get to see, the dad in you come out. I think that was nice. That was nice to see you have that personal touch. Obviously, we see it in your commencement speeches as well. But I thought that was really nice to kind of see that different point of view from you and connecting with those young women for something they might actually face. Becoming women in STEM is a challenge in them itself. I know my colleagues are quite aware of them. So I appreciate you and sharing those words to them. That's all the pleasantries. Well, no, yes, pleasantries, but also could be, of course, this beautiful month that we're in. Pride started as a protest, and as we've seen, this country is filled with beauty and also filled with a lot of hate. We celebrate Juneteenth in 9 days, but of course, that was years of enslaved Black people being kept enslaved just by the color of their skin. We're seeing that colorism and racism still perpetuate now as we see it's not even just immigration enforcement action, it's really just violation of law, due process, civil rights, everything. Said it once and said it again, but this country has for a long time been a country that can do awful things to its citizens. It's had the infrastructure to do awful things for its citizens, and it's still not jarring to see it happen, actually, to see Los Angeles go underseas, you know, the occupation that we're seeing over the objections of our local authority, our civil authority, our governor, is quite daunting. So I am hoping that, you know, as our colleagues say, we stay safe, we remain safe, we look out for each other. You know, do not share unverified reports of, you know, folks who might be in the area. Always, you know, you don't want to spread panic, but definitely look out for each other. We don't want to live and operate in fear. Those who, you know, do have the privilege to, you know, be out, you know, can travel freely, you know, definitely let's do our part to keep our fellow community members safe and us as a school district. I know our schools are going to be amazing resources for our families, not only our students, for our families, but just hoping that we stay proactive ahead of next year for all of our big events. Even for, you know, the graduation we might have later this week when we come back to school, you know, home games, you know, if we have, you know, after school festivities, just wherever we know our community congregates and there might be a vulnerability that we still look out for each other. I think I could speak on for this, but I think it's been robustly said by 5 other people, so we know where I'm getting at. But that's that we will look out for each other, and our schools will remain to be safe sanctuaries for our students and our families. Last thing is, although I am definitely wearing a little cap of pro Newsom at the moment, I'm gonna take it off real quick for the Prop 98 manipulation that he's doing again for the second year, which will impact all school districts in California. I believe it's withholding, I think it was a $1.8 billion figure. And that's money that belongs to our students. So I am hoping CSBA, as they've done in years past, staunchly advocate and sue for that unconstitutional maneuver he's doing. Now more than ever, our schools need to have the robust support of all levels of government. Clearly, we might not get it at the federal level. They are asking to abolish the Department of Education when they should be abolishing ICE, but you know, we're looking out for each other here in California as much as we can. So hoping the governor does the same and rescind this manipulation. But keeping things good and positive, we have another graduation later this week. We will see each other again in 2 weeks as we approve our budget and beautiful LCAP. I'm definitely going to be looking over more fine-tuned, you know, the beautiful 100+ page document it is. But I think it's really great to see the roadmap that has been a labor of love from everyone here, our students, our teachers, our staff, our families. So commend our teams for all the work they've done. Not only on the education side, but of course the non-instructional side, everything in anticipation of the budget, everything that is human resources that I have an affinity with. It's horrible. It makes us go round and round. But we did it, Bassett, end of the school year, and that's it for me. We'll move on to closed session. Item number 1 is conference with labor negotiators pursuant to Government Code Section 54957.6. Item number 2 is public employee employment. Item number 3 is conference with legal counsel, existing litigation pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9. Item number 4 is conference with legal counsel, potential litigation pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9. And item number 5 is public employee performance evaluation. I'd like to ask for unanimous consent that we adjourn into closed session at 7:04 p.m. Is there any objection? Hearing none? Thank you.
FUC.
All right, all those in-
Thank you.
That's response now.
Good evening. We'll reconvene at 9:11 PM. Report of action taken in closed session, Madam Clerk.
In closed session on a motion by Ms. Dolores Rivera and second by Ms. Adina Flores. And in a vote of 5 members approved, 0 members opposed, 0 members abstained, the governing board took action to approve the appointment of Susan Ibarra Gaspar as Chief Business Officer effective July 1st, 2025, pending the employment clearance process by Human Resource Services.
We apologize for the long commute home.
That's right.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. And if I may, on behalf of the board, very much congratulations. We look forward to your start, I believe, over the summer. And of course, next meeting, we would love to pay our honors to our amazing retiring CBO. So just thank you again.
Thank you for the opportunity to be here and work with all of you. It's been a pleasure and it's been a wonderful experience. I'm very grateful for every single day. Thank you so much.
We'll move on to discussion action items. Approval of resolutions. Number 1 is resolution number 049-25, proclaiming June 2025 as LGBTQIA+ Pride Month. The superintendent recommends the Board of Education approve resolution number 049-25 and proclaim June 2025 as LGBTQIA+ Pride Month to inspire equity, create alliances, celebrate diversity, and establish safe environments in our schools and communities throughout the county. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Stanzioni, second by, I heard, Ms. Rivera. Any discussion on the motion? Motion by Ms. Stanzioni, seconded by Ms. Rivera. Roll call vote.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Consent calendar. All matters listed under consent calendar are considered by the board to be, items that will be enacted by the board in one motion. There will be no discussion of these items prior to the time the board votes on the motion unless members of the board, staff, or public request specific items to be discussed and removed from the consent calendar. Are there any items that members wish to hear removed? Ms. Lotus,
No, I don't have anything. Never mind.
you sure? You're not sure?
I'm sorry. Yes.
Sorry. That was genuine too. I didn't mean to poke fun. Hearing none, is there a motion to approve?
Make a motion to approve the consent calendar.
Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion by Ms. Rivera, second by Ms. Flores. Yes, Flores. That's we're out here too late. Roll call vote.
Aye.
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 Aye, the motion carries. Adjournment. The next regular board meeting will be held on June 24th, 2025. Adjourn the regular board meeting of June 10th, 2025. I would like to make the motion. Is there a second?
Motion.
Second.
Oh, I'll make the motion is, okay. So motion by Mr. Cimental, second by Ms. Flores. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Perfect. We'll stand adjourned at 9:15 PM. Thank you and good evening, Bassett. Stay safe.